As we plunge into a huge media and political debate about repealing and replacing Obamacare, what really strikes me is this. President Trump and the Republicans are playing on Barack Obama's turf. Now, how can that be? What I mean by that is that the things that they are debating, it does not completely throw the law out, as House Republicans tried to do for about 6 straight years, when they knew there'd be no consequence to it. Now, this doesn't make it right or wrong, but even during the campaign, Donald Trump said there were certain things that he liked about Obamacare. He didn't want to get rid of the ban on pre-existing conditions where people couldn't get coverage if they already had a disease, or keeping kids, young people on their parents' policies until they were 26, or no cap by the insurance industry on lifetime benefits. So then the question became, could they come up with a plan, and this is going to be, the big legislative fight of the season, that would not only adhere more to sort of GOP free market principles, but to get enough votes from the conservative wing of the Republican Party, which would like to throw the whole thing out, which doesn't want to keep all the provisions. And so this is the way history works. If you go back to Ronald Reagan, he was a transformational president who changed what every president after him had to deal with. So when Bill Clinton comes along many years later and says the era of big government is over, and Bill Clinton signs a welfare reform bill working with Newt Gingrich's Republicans, he was playing on Reagan's turf. Same thing with LBJ. More than half a century now, passing Medicare and Medicaid. There's been lots of attempts to rein in the program, fix it, privatize it, you name it. But nobody in public life, as was the case in 1964 and 1965, is suggesting getting rid of those two monster entitlement programs. So it seems to me that the big debate now really is in the Republican Party, because the Republicans, politically speaking, don't want to be responsible for kicking 20 million people or even 10 million people off the insurance rolls. That was actually warned about in 2010 when the Democrats passed this thing on a party line vote. Once you had that entitlement in place, would it be politically impossible to take it away? So the Republicans certainly have a different approach with tax credits, with getting rid of the individual mandate, and the employer mandate of the individual mandate would be replaced by kind of an unofficial mandate where if you go off the insurance and then you try to get it back, your premiums go up 30%. So some of this gets down in the weeds, and it's going to be a good debate. At the same time, I think that Trump and the Republicans recognize they can't completely throw this out, because even with some Trump voters who don't want to lose their coverage, it's popular. Now, the law has a lot of flaws. A lot of people did lose their coverage. They're paying much more for their coverage. But trying to fix that while keeping the conservatives on board, without any Democratic votes, while adhering to the principles that the president has set out, that is difficult. And this is why governing is so much harder than campaigning.